Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the All-American Savage Show podcast. I'm your host, John Burke, and we are pleased to announce, if you couldn't tell, with the way the music was professionally done this time versus me holding my phone to the damn speaker, we have Josh is back from vacation. My beautiful bearded husband is back from the vacation with his wife and kiddos over in San Antonio. So it's good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
People are tired of me having to do the audio engineering, which just sounds like complete ass.
I'm sure that's not true.
So, it's very. I went back and listened. I was like, that's bad, but whatever. I'm not even gonna attempt my hand at this because I know my limitations. So, glad to have you back, and glad that your vacation was so good.
Yeah, it was good.
You had a good time over in San Antonio.
Yeah, spring break.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's nice.
Say no more. That's awesome. Glad to have you back. I missed you so much. And then we actually matched today.
I know.
We matched with our beautiful shell shot.
Unexpectedly.
Yeah, we didn't even coordinate this. We look incredible. Like, dude, I would totally fuck the both of us. We look amazing.
Keep going.
We're on a mission by God. We're on a mission by God. Oh, man. So we got a great deal. For those that didn't know this, and I wasn't aware of this either, the tankard giveaways that we're doing, these tankards that you see on the desk here, you can actually buy these. You can buy these on their own. You don't have to spend just the shell shock, the $100. I didn't know that. So apparently you can buy these tankards. They're on the website or the Tipsy Woodworking tab at the top on shellshockcbd.com. You can see them there. So you can purchase a mystery tankard or mystery mug. The mugs go for around 40. The tankards go for around, I think, 60, I think.
Sounds right.
So you can actually still get these while supplies last. And we got a great deal for you coming up here today. If you are in the Shell Shock CBD Facebook group or you follow me on Telegram, I will announce, but we are doing the watermelon CBD gummies, the Fallout gummies. We're going to do buy one, get one free while supplies last. That includes the 30 and 60 count bags. So that's going to be buy one bag, get one free. I'm not sure how long it's going to last. Or no, we have about 1,000. So once we blow through that 1,000, the deal will end. So that's coming today. I will let you guys know. You can check that out on all the Shell Shock pages. We're going to be promoting it as soon as it is live, probably before the show even ends, so I'll let y'all know. But again, shellshockcbd.com. You can buy the tankards there, or you can also, the gummies coming soon, buy one, get one free of the watermelon Fallout gummies. So we appreciate y'all's love and support. We had a great Drunken debates this last Saturday. I hope everybody enjoyed it. We had a lot of brand new panelists, and it'll be coming back again this Saturday. And again, we are so incredibly grateful of all the panelists that come on and join with us and had a really good discussion. We talked about Leah Thomas, the swimmer. That was a big discussion. You know, a lot of people were kind of like, it was interesting to have those types of discussions where you can get down to the nitty gritty of why you are pro or why you're against it. And of course, you know, all the conservatives for the most part were against it. Then you had the centrists that were kind of like, what are you gonna do? It's whatever. And then you have the leftists like, oh no, I fully support this. So there was really a really good series of discussions. For those that want the link to the Tipsy's Woodworking, here it is in the chat. You can get it right there. There's the link to the Tipsy's. Appreciate it. But yeah, so it was a really good discussion. I got pretty faded, not gonna lie. Towards the end there, I took a Delta 8 in the last hour. I should have done that, but I was like, I need it because I need to kind of relax a little bit. And it was a really good time, man. And I really hope I hope people come back and keep tuning in because again, it'll get better. It's just some of these topics are more intellectually based. Like you have to really go down the rabbit hole and discuss these from a very educated standpoint versus, and I talked about this after the stream or after the Drunken Debates was over. I kept the Twitch stream going, and you can, by the way, you can go back and rewatch it. It's on Twitch, it's on YouTube, I believe it's on Facebook. You can go back and rewatch it. I did my best to moderate it, but then towards the end, I kind of got sucked into it. But the panelists were all cool. They're like, no, we want you to engage. Like, all right, as long as you feel I can be a fair moderator and still interject my opinion, and they all felt that I was able to, so they allowed me to participate, and I had a really good time doing that. Because it's hard not to. Yeah. It's hard because Rose Wrist, I appreciate him coming on. And this is the cool thing about Rose Wrist is left. He's a leftist. This kid is like 18 or 19 out of Amsterdam, and I forget what he's studying. This is an intelligent kid. Like, he's a very intelligent kid. Some of his things I didn't agree with, but he was very well spoken, had some really good points to make, and I appreciated that. Like, and that's the thing I love about Drunken Debates is you can take these conservative meme accounts, put them in Drunken Debates, and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't know policies. They don't know anything. So that's why I love engaging with lefties on Twitch. They know what they're talking about. So you better come prepared. And that's what I love doing. Like, I love Rob Knorr. He writes for allamericans.com, the website. He's a very open conservative pundit. Rob knows his shit. Like, Rob's way more intelligent than I am. Mm-hmm. And I listen to Rob, and Rob just fucking crushes. But then you've got other debaters like Destiny and the rest of them. They'll come in there, and they will just wreck shop. So, and I don't want to sit there and discredit somebody just because we're on the opposing side of the political spectrum. They're actually very well versed. They're educated on these matters. And it's just like, I appreciate that. I appreciate the intellectual discussion, even if I disagree with it. I think it opens the door to some really good back and forth repartee between intelligent people. So
they don't cite like Wikipedia, though, do they?
No. I do remember like the last Drunken debate, somebody had tried to use Wikipedia as their source for quoting information. I was like, no, bro, if you've ever been to college, Wikipedia cannot be cited as a source. Because I don't think they understand you can go in there and manipulate the information.
I mean, even still, like Webster's Dictionary, they changed the definition of stuff as well. So
I agree. I agree.
I don't know. I think it's easier to be a leftist than a common sense thinking conservative or libertarian for that matter.
Hold on. I forgot. Mary came into work today, and I apparently have the garage door open there. She doesn't have the keys to the house, so I had to tell her how to get it in. So, fuck, I need to go hide a key. My bad.
There's a rock by the curb. Just smash a window.
No, hopefully not that much. All right, ready to do this day in history? We appreciate y'all tuning in, and make sure you go leave us a good review on the iTunes podcast. It helps our ranking. Again, Josh and I do this by ourselves. We're not loyal to any group of people out there, but we do this on. All right, so let's get into this day in history. All right. In the name of African-American voting rights, 3,200 civil rights demonstrators in Alabama, led by Martin Luther King Jr., began a historic march from Selma to Montgomery, the state's capital. Federalized Alabama National Guardsmen and FBI agents were on hand to provide safe passage from the march, which twice had been turned back by Alabama State Police at Selma's Edmund Pettus Bridge. In 1965, King and his Southern Christian Leadership Conference decided to make the small town of Selma the focus of their drive to win voting rights for African Americans in the South. Alabama's governor, George Wallace, was a vocal opponent of the African American civil rights movement, and local authorities in Selma had consistently thwarted efforts by the Dallas County Voters League and the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee to register local black citizens. Although Governor Wallace promised to prevent it from going forward, on March 7th, some 600 demonstrators led by SCLC leader Hosea Williams and SNCC leader John Lewis began the 54-mile march to the state capitol. At crossing Edmund Pettus Bridge, they were met by Alabama state troopers and a posse of men who attacked them with nightsticks, tear gas, and whips after they refused to turn back. Several of the protesters were severely beaten, and others ran for their lives. The incident was captured on national television and outraged many Americans. King, who was in Atlanta at the time, promised to return to Selma immediately and led another attempt. On March 9th, King led another march attempt, but turned the marchers around when state troopers again blocked the road. On March 21st, U.S. Army troops and federalized Alabama National Guardsmen escorted the marchers across the Edmund Pettus Bridge and down Highway 80. When the highway narrowed to 2 lanes, only 300 marchers were permitted, but thousands more rejoined the Alabama Freedom March as it came into Montgomery on March 25th. On the steps of the Alabama State Capitol, King addressed live television cameras and a crowd of 2,500 just a few hundred feet from the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, where he got his start as a minister in 1954. And that is this day in history.
Pick up rock, smash window.
That's for Mary, yeah. I'm trying to get this, I'm posting this in the Twitch. So the watermelon, you cut the music, we're good. The watermelon gummy deal, by the way, is live now on shellshockcbd.com. It's literally buy a bag, get one free. You can check that out. It is on shellshockcbd.com. Appreciate y'all's love on that one. Again, watermelon fallout gummies. These are just CBD. There is no THC. You will not fail a drug test. This is help with stress and anxiety. It's help you relax. So again, those are the watermelon gummies in 30 count and 60 count.
25 milligram, right?
25 milligrams of gummies, yes.
Yeah.
That's a damn good dosage.
Yeah, they're potent.
They're very potent, yes. And you will not fail a drug test. You have my word, you will not fail a drug test.
And these gummies are one of a kind. They're made with like one of the only gummy molds in the United States that can make all these gummies the same. So
they do a damn good job. Like our stuff is like,
if you take 4 of them, you'll get stoned. Just throwing that out there.
Oh my God. Well, that's live on the website. I've got it up there. Have at it. And the tankers as well. All right. A lot of news to cover today. The first one I wanted to delve into is a really good explanation of where conservatism lies today. And this is a really good topic of discussion. So if you don't know who Mark Dice is a YouTube personality. He's a conservative pundit. He does a lot of YouTube videos. He's got a very large Twitter following. Mark Dice is very open about his views. I like listening to a lot of what he has to say. Some things that I disagree on, but a lot of it I do. Well, for those that don't know who Dave Rubin is, the Rubin Report, he's also another conservative pundit. He's very well off, he's a very rich dude. Good for him. I'm not knocking that. He's a mainstream figure out there in the conservative movement. Well, Dave Rubin posted on his Twitter a few days back about he and his partner adopting, or essentially using surrogacy to have 2 children. He posted about it. And a lot of conservative influencers were celebrating, they were congratulating him. Hey, good, congratulations, yada, yada, yada. Mark Dice went after him. And then he went after he went after Glenn Beck. He went after Matt Walsh. He went after Ben Shapiro. He went after every prominent conservative talking head by saying you celebrating this is a compromise of conservative values and you're not a real conservative. I'm paraphrasing on that one. You can go watch this video. It's on his YouTube channel. And he legitimately goes in there after these two saying, if you're a conservative, how can you support this? This is basically not supporting the nuclear home, which they apparently is a conservative value. I get that. But the topic that I wanted to address, though, and listen to a lot of what Chad has to say, is I feel like Mark Dice represents a different side of conservatism, which is the evangelical side, the Christian-based version, to where their conservatism is rooted in religious ideology, where I think that's where a lot of republicanism came from and still exists in today. But I feel like as conservatives, the party has definitely progressed, and I feel it needs to, in the sense of the banner of freedom, to where it's your life, you do as you see fit, even though I disagree. And I agree with Mark Dice. From a religious standpoint, no, it's not right. I disagree with it. But from a freedom standpoint, who am I to enforce my religious convictions on somebody else? Mm-hmm. So that's where I feel Mark is coming from on this one. And it definitely brings about a really good conversation of what is conservatism today? What is being a Republican mean? Because I feel like there are those that are hanging on to what it used to be, which is we're the party of Christianity, we're a party of this, which I feel like that's the wrong way to go about it. Because what about those that are not Christian? What about those that don't agree with you religiously? Why can't we just unite under the banner of liberty, to where it's your life, you do as you see fit, yada, yada, I just don't want to pay for it. But I think Mark Dice is one of the last types, and I don't hate the guy, I'm not insulting, but I feel like he's kind of a conservative relic in a sense of trying to force that and going after people that have a difference of religious opinion on you or from you, or don't have one at all. Mm-hmm. Like, I have no issue with Dave Rubin and his partner wanting to use surrogacy, because the way Mark Dice had framed is like, you're taking these eggs, and he really made it very different, because it was 2 men doing it versus a man and a woman doing it. Like, you're stealing these eggs, you're using, and then I saw other conservatives like, you're basically using a woman for her body. It's like, wait, they're volunteering to do it. What are you talking about? I feel like people are blowing this way out of proportion. Like, if a woman volunteers her body to do this, I actually have a friend that does it, and she makes good money doing it. And I could never do it. I could never be with somebody that does that either. It's like, nah, that'd be too weird. Like, the psychological effects on that, I can't do it. But at the same token, like, if she chooses to do it and she's making money, I believe, again, I'm of the same mindset that prostitution should be legal. If you legitimately, I had a great conversation. I know I'm going off the path on this one, but I had a great conversation this weekend, or on Thursday, St. Patrick's Day, with a buddy of mine. And we talked about that. We said, should prostitution be legalized? He's like, no, because it's closely intertwined with sex trafficking. It's like, I realize that.
Well, why is it legal in Nevada?
Exactly. Why is it legal in Amsterdam? It's like, do we sit there and demote something that is liberty-based based upon the negative ramifications, or the negative side effects of what goes along with it? We could take the same thing with drinking, alcohol, drunk driving. Take the same argument with guns, gun-related violence. It's like, you still have the right to do it, but do we now say we can't do or enforce a policy, or say we should be for a certain thing under the banner of liberty, but then pull it because it has negative effects? Like, I can't agree with that, because then we'd have nothing at all, because you're always going to have people that ruin it for everybody. Right. But that's just the way it goes. I don't believe in mass corporal punishment. I think it's ridiculous. So with Mark Dice's point, though, when he tries to talk about like these women giving up their bodies, they're selling their eggs, yada, 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 I don't take issue with that. Like, I just don't. But I think the reason he is because 2 men are doing it, not a man and a woman.
Yeah. I just don't think there's enough research to determine how these kids are going to turn out once they go through the household. I mean, maybe it'll be great for them. I don't know. But that goes, is it better than being raised in an orphanage or
by 2 mothers?
I mean, we'll just... I don't know. I think there's probably pros and cons to it. There's could be kids that want to be adopted that would be like, I'll take 2 dads or 2 moms or whatever. I don't care. But
just get me out of this hellhole.
Right.
I'd rather be in a home.
I don't know how it is, but yeah, I don't know if I would. I'm fiscally conservative.
Yeah.
Like I would. I'm a Christian.
But you're also a Christian,
right?
The thing that I like about you is that you don't try and force those views on other people. It's like, I don't care what you do.
You can't govern everybody the exact same way. There has to be like one set of rules that we can all agree on. Like, let's keep church
and state separate.
Yeah, let's keep it separate.
Yeah.
And we can all agree on smaller government.
Can you imagine
low taxes?
Can you imagine a conservative party led by Mark Dice types to where you have to agree with our religious theocracy?
Yeah, I mean,
if you don't, then you can't be a real conservative. Well, I hate when people frame the conversation in that manner, because who are you to dictate, or who are you to gatekeep? Like, right. I hate that. And libertarians are the worst about that. It's like, oh, you're not a real libertarian. It's like, well, it doesn't stop me from voting. You can't stop me from voting who I want. Like, okay. All you're trying to do is exclude me. And I feel like if we followed Mark Dice's pattern, it's not a zero-sum game. You're going to have to make some compromises in the sense of who you want under your banner.
Yeah, we're all different.
Yeah, and I know, like, I tried to get her on the podcast. Got to reach back out. The porn star Brandy Love, I think, I tried to attend the Turning Point thing, and they kicked her out because she's a porn star. It's like, I understand that. It's like, but if you want to win, if you want to have conservatism from an economic stance, like be the primary mover of America, the primary governor of America, then you're going to have to make some compromises on who you are cool with letting into your party. I don't care if we have gay people in the conservative movement. That's fine. It's freedom for everybody. Mm-hmm. But I also understand that with that freedom comes the decay of moral society. We saw it with Rome. I mean, that's just a part of it. Like, there is no separating it, because we see what the left has done, that they are more pro-freedom than anybody. But at the same token, they go to such an extent to where it almost borderlines into, it actually isn't a fascism. They want the government to silence people. They want you to be forced to see. It's kind of like they're almost there, and then conservatives, I feel like, are a lot closer. But it's like, if we take the bad from both sides of it, the leftists want to embrace child grooming. They want to embrace or a drag queen story hour. They want to endorse children being given hormone blockers. And I'm like, no, this is child abuse. This is in the realms of insanity.
As soon as you bring that stuff up, I'm like, oh, okay, you're evil.
You're evil, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's way different than a homosexual couple wanting to raise a child.
Yeah.
Like, once you start to want to talk about transgenderism and give them hormone blockers.
I do have to bring up the other part about what Mark Dice said in regards, like, they're not going to have a mother figure in their life. Well, I didn't have a father figure in mine.
Yeah.
And it's not saying that you can still turn out okay. I mean, because there's just independent variables are going to vary. There's no way to see an outcome based upon two fathers or two mothers, because we already have a lot of, the divorce rate in America is like what? Well above over 50%. We're talking about single-parent households here raising their children. Yeah. So it's like, I think that argument doesn't hold any weight anymore, because if we're being pragmatic about it, we already have single-parent households. Mm-hmm. What would be worse, a single-parent household or a double-parent household of the same sex?
That's what I just don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
What the long-term effects are. So would you?
But in my mind, is like, as long as that child is taken care of.
Her and her.
I don't think that's the example you want to use. But she's a freak. She's a nut job.
Right, but she had a kid. She's a lesbian, right?
Yeah.
So they adopted kids, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then, like, their kids hate them.
Really?
Yeah. I think there was.
Consider the source. It's Rosie O'Donnell. I hate her too.
But
I know, like, Neil Patrick Harris has done it. There have been a lot of prominent figures that have done it, and I don't know the outcome of that. But I know if we just fall back to freedom, it's the freedom to do so, I guess, as long as it's voluntarily based.
I don't know, giving them love and not doing anything weird.
Because I feel like, you look at people like Dave Rubin and the rest of them, it's like, so you're saying that based upon their sexuality, they're not capable of giving love to a child? My brother's gay. And if my brother had a child, he'd probably be one of the best dads out. He's a very, very loving person. He's a good man. Yeah. He just loves men. And I understand that. And that's where I feel, and it's not that I'm endorsing it. I'm saying I disagree from a theological standpoint, but I'm not going to, again, force those religious views on other people. I don't agree with that. That's not what America was founded upon. Matter of fact, religious persecution is the biggest reason why we have America.
Yeah.
And it's like these people don't learn. So these Mark Dices and such, it's like, look, I get where you're coming from on this, but here's the deal. If you don't agree with it, then just don't do it.
Right.
Because then where does it stop? Well, if I'm a Christian, then I don't agree with doing drugs. I don't agree with drinking. I don't agree with all this stuff. Well, then don't do it. But don't force your views on other people. I can't agree with that.
Jesus' first miracle is turning water into wine. What's that tell you?
What does
Listen
that
up.
Even Paul said, glass of wine for the stomach's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's why I do take a stance to where I don't agree with pushing religion and politics. I do not agree with that.
Yeah. Right. If you want everybody to be a Christian, you want everybody to get saved and accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, be an example.
Yeah.
Don't beat people over the head with the Bible.
Yeah.
Show them why.
But I think Mark has taken the approach to where he's upset that a lot of these conservative figureheads are not religious fundamentalists like he is.
Yeah.
And I think he's just upset about it. Because I remember reading a lot of these things, and Mark was in a lot of these comment threads going after them. I'm like, even people in the comments like, dude, what's your problem? Mm-hmm. Like, why is this the hill you want to die on? It's like two gay guys that are financially very well off, and I agree with their political opinions by and large. It's like, who are you to say that they can and cannot do that? And again, it's just, from a freedom perspective, it's like, yeah. From a religious perspective, no. But I get the point that like I said, I don't know how many times I got to keep saying this, but I don't agree with forcing my religious views on other people because I wouldn't want it done in return to me. Because what if we lived in a primarily like Muslim country, like the Middle East? That's what they do, and I'd be pissed the fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like theocracies. I think they're horrible. I think it's the epitome of human corruption. I mean, look at the Pope. Look at the Pope. Look at the Catholic Church, and I'm not knocking Catholics by and large. I'm just talking about the figureheads they've got. And we got this later on in the story here. It's like, this dude, like the Pope right now, this guy is like the Antichrist. Like, I think he could be. He is so far off the walls into liberalism, and he is the example of church and state merging. That's the problem that I take. So I don't know. Oh, we got Paget in the chat on Twitch. Says, my mom is gay and has been with her partner, my second mom, for 36 years. My brother and I turned out fine. Both served in the military. Parents. Well, there you go. Well, I don't know you personally, so we're going off of what you're thinking about yourself. Yeah. But I get your point. So ultimately, I don't know, man. I don't like Mark Dice. He too overly conspiracized theories, Captain Pimp says on Twitch. Yeah, I know on his write-up on YouTube, it calls him a conspiracy theorist. But then again, leftist mainstream labels anyone that questions the narratives, like the Hunter Biden laptop. They said that if you believe in that, you're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, come to find out. Oh, we got it wrong, guys. Sorry about that. And like I was telling you before the show, it took a New York Times article to confirm this before then people accepted it as truth. It took the New York Times. How bad off are we as a country? The same propaganda machine that has lied to us continuously. Yeah. But suddenly if they publish it, like there is so much conspiracy here. There's
peddled
so much
a Russian collusion hoax.
Yeah, 100%.
Without any evidence.
Nope.
Zero evidence.
Nope. Yeah.
I mean, it's maddening. You had that idiot Leslie Stahl on 60 Minutes telling Trump there wasn't any evidence other than Hunter Biden's signature and his phone number and all this information, him on camera.
Yep.
The guy who was at the laptop repair shop who said that was Hunter Biden that came in. Mm-hmm. Other than that evidence, we didn't have any evidence.
There are people out there you cannot convince anything because, like, I've talked to Crenshaw offline a bunch of times about the Ukraine issue. He will not listen.
I'm telling you,
he is more so. He is a very strong foreign policy guy, whereas I am not. Like, I believe in having a foreign policy, but not to the extent of like. Because, I talked to him and he was just kind of like, who is pushing for war? And Fox and them is like, I talked about this in the other podcast, like it's called emotional conditioning.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing in America. They're conditioning Americans to where if eventually they do push for the commitment of American troops, whatever the case, America's going to be emotionally in tune. It's like, you know what? Do it. Let's do it. I think a lot of America already would be cool to do it. If push came to shove. And here's the thing. Remember when before this invasion first kicked off, they were accusing Russia of a false flag operation of like they'd get accidentally attacked from somebody's like, okay, well, that's our cue. What if America did the same thing? What if we committed a false flag in Ukraine, blamed it on Russia, and then it pulls us in? I could see them doing it. I could see them doing that. And then, Crenshaw, he's like, you think the CIA trained people? It's like, yeah.
You don't think they did?
Oh, I do. 100%.
The question is like,
dude, I don't know, man. The more that I hear him talk about things, the more it's just like, I don't know where you're coming from on this. Like Crenshaw's the kind of guy that is like, he needs to have hard facts before he commits to something. And I realize that, but you do have to take away some kind of, I don't want to say conspiracy license, but you do need to open up your mind to the fact that the government is corrupt. Yeah. The CIA and the rest of them, because Crenshaw is also a big federal government guy. He is a big policy guy in regards to all these federal agencies protecting America. It's like, look, dude, when you have a corrupted system, it needs to be dismantled. Like our entire government needs to be dismantled, quite honestly. We've gone so far off the power rails.
So corrupt.
It's bad. It's insanely bad. But
and like spending us into oblivion. Like just giving themselves a big raise.
Okay, now was that true or not? Because I still haven't looked this up. People said they gave themselves a 21% raise on this last omnibus spending deal. Or spending bill. I haven't looked it up. If they gave themselves a 21% raise, Like you adjusted for inflation, like a 21% raise, that would put them at like what? Almost 200 grand a year? You're making 200 grand a year. Fuck me running.
That's the Wall Street Journal here.
That's nuts to me.
The government gives itself a big raise.
A big raise, yeah.
That's Wall Street Journal.
It was their staff. I'm sorry, we did read that. It was their staff. They were trying to get that raise to actually pay more in their staff. And I remember because my point was, if you want to pay your staff more, you're allocated to 175 grand. Cut them some of your salary. I mean, because I remember referencing you and me in the business. It's like if we want to pay the employees more, we don't raise prices on our products. We just cut from our salary, or we cut from someplace else. Or if we're growing and we're becoming, we're making more money, we give them raises.
This is insane. The House passed a $1.5 trillion bill to fund the government this year. $1.5 trillion when we're already at what, 30? It's 30 trillion.
It's sad to the point where we're at now. It's sad. Now I believe, and this is the thing that I love about it. If you want to pay a fair day's wage, that's fine, but stop demanding it from me. If you need these staff, or you need this stuff, why am I paying for more? I didn't agree to this. Like, you were elected, you go represent. It's your job. If you want to hire helpers, I fully support that. Take it out of your money.
Yeah,
take it out of your money.
It's $1.5 trillion. That's way too much.
100%.
$1 million would be too much at this point because they obviously don't know how to budget.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on from Mark Dice, and that's actually gonna be a topic for Drunken Debates coming up this Saturday. I want to have a prominent conservative panel. And I want to create a sense of, and I'm probably going to do all conservatives this time, because I think throwing the topic out there of what is conservatism to you is going to be very highly discussed, because I think this conversation needs to happen. It really needs to happen, because I don't think people are really having this conversation, not to the level of, when they do have this conversation, it's like in an echo chamber.
Yeah.
I want it to be where you have religious conservatives, you have non-religious conservatives, because I think people by and large need to wake up to this idea that the GOP is not the evangelical party it once was, nor should it be.
No.
You should just be a one group within that umbrella of that party if that's the way you want to go. I feel that's the smartest way, because then you're going to start winning. You're going to start winning a lot. If you try and split the GOP, which, again, people are still going to vote according to how they want regardless. It's like, but you're not going to get those fringe leftists to come over. They won't. And that's where the decisive victories are going to come about, I feel.
Yeah.
All right. New article, a Chicago man goes viral for putting mortgage payment in RV tank amid high U.S. gas prices. The man spoke with Fox News Digital after a viral video showed him paying nearly $945 to fuel his converted Prevest bus. A Chicago dad has gone viral on TikTok for paying over $900 to fill up his RV, is speaking out as high gas prices remain a serious concern across the country. Last week, TikTok user at Riley.14_ posted a video on the social media platform showing her dad, Mark, filling up his converted Prevost bus on his way to a Florida vacation. At the end of the minute-long video, the gas pump showed that filling the RV with 170 gallons of fuel wound up costing the man astounding $944.85. Since it's been posted, the video has been viewed more than 16.3 million times. Oh, you want to talk about something that pisses me off? Well, not really pisses me off, that I just kind of like, what the fuck? So I posted a video on my Instagram weeks ago when we got hit with that second freeze in Texas, and Mary was getting out of the Tesla, and the driveway was iced. So as soon as she got out, she started sliding everywhere. And I knowing me as a loving boyfriend, I pulled out my phone. I'm videotaping this shit. Like, this is fucking hilarious. She takes that video, posts it to her TikTok, and I think it's almost at like 3 million views. I was like, that's my video. Like, that's my video. I don't care about it. I just thought it was funny because I only post John Ross stuff to my TikTok. I only post that. But she posts that, and, didn't even fucking tag me. Oh my God.
It was pretty funny.
And I'm just going to beat her for it when I get home. It was actually very funny. But the great part about it, though, in the comments, like, I'm like a social media prophet. I can already tell you what the comments are going to be. I can already tell you. Majority of which were positive. But you had those select, ugly, fat, very unattractive, and overall unfuckable women. He just doesn't seem like a good person. He'd just leave her like that. It's ice on a driveway. It's not a rope bridge stranded between two different things in the Amazon jungle, and she's sitting there dangling. Like, what the fuck are you telling? Like, you fat, ugly little cunts. Like, I'm serious. You need to get fucked. You need to get fucked, but no man wants to fuck you because you're a miserable, sad individual. And that's why I think majority of you are gay, because you find an equal woman that is equally just as unattractive and miserable, and you fuck each other, and you live in misery. That's why leftists are so fucking miserable, and they want to ruin everything for everybody. So, of course, in the comments, and you can go read it. It's on her TikTok. And just some of these comments are like, he's just standing there filming. Why don't you go out and help her? It's like, what am I going to do? Go out? Because I even said, it's like, help me. It's like, I'm not going to be you. I'm going to turn into you. Then we'll both be sliding on the ice. So, you know, for those that haven't watched the video, she eventually made her way over to the grass and then walked up and we were good to go. Nobody got hurt. But it was funny as hell. But people just want to ruin everything. Yeah. They want to project their misery onto other people. It's just like, you know, and by the way, I got a Twitter suspension of 7 days because apparently you can't tell a random on Twitter to go play in traffic. Freedom of speech, baby.
Or call Hillary Clinton a cunt.
A cunt, yeah, absolutely.
That
I fully agree with that.
Permanently
Look, I don't give a fuck. If I find that you're a groomer supporter and I tell you go fucking start a shotgun, I'm being serious. Like, I don't want you on this world. I don't think that should be banned. I don't. Like, so the fuck what? They have all these other insults on social media, but if you have somebody out there that supports this pedophilia movement or these groomer movements, then yeah, for me to tell you to like go blow your fucking brains out, like I don't care. If you did, I'd probably celebrate. Like, good. We don't need you anymore. We don't need you in this society. You are disgusting. Like all the disagreements and the being cordial when it comes to somebody with a different political opinion, that's fine. When you get children involved, that's off the table, and I wish you nothing but death, illness, a whole severe winter of death and illness. Hey, first day of spring, we made it through the winter of severe death and illness. So the Biden administration, I just want you to know, we made it through.
Yeah, they're gearing up for the
two new variants that are coming out. Yeah.
Since it's election season,
absolutely.
Obviously, we got to go through another pandemic so we can get these mail-in ballots.
This just in, Pfizer's announced a 27th booster shot might be needed to prevent the spread of... Shut the fuck up.
That's what they said in Israel.
Oh, my God.
Where they're
the most vaccinated country and still had the highest COVID spike rate. So it's like, this doesn't do anything. So I don't know. I just, that's whatever.
It's whatever. I do know, but if you say it...
Oh, yeah.
You'll get canceled.
Put your bottom lip over your head and swallow. That's all I care about. But anyway, TikTok guy goes viral. Pretty cool. I filled up the vet deal. I only take the vet out usually on the weekends. I had to take it today because Mary's taking the other car. You know how much it cost me to fill up this tank? It takes premium. You know, I have to pay you, dude, $80. $80.
Yikes.
And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? $80 to fill up my car.
It's doubled, right?
Yeah. It's nuts. Mary's looking at this like, it's not that bad. But Mary's from California where it's like $8 a gallon. It's like, oh, no. Here in Texas, that's bad.
No, that's
terrible. Really bad. And there is still no light at the end of the tunnel here. There is still no light at the end of the tunnel of these gas prices coming down because, again, Biden is not going to use local oil. He won't do it. Funny how gas price, and I
like how they keep calling it the Putin gas hike and the Putin like.
That was a convenient scapegoat. That's all that was.
It's like they all got the same talking points.
Yeah. And that's the other part is like Biden hadn't even sanctioned the oil yet and gas prices are still going up. It's like, what are you talking about? Like you're still buying oil from Russia.
Right.
At the sale. Like, what are you talking about? It's because I honestly think Psaki and the rest of them, they genuinely think the American public is that stupid. And I think a lot of them are.
Yeah. I mean, if you're still voting Democrat after this, then you're just
a complete moron. I get that in the GOP, there's a lot of people out there like your Lindsey Grahams. I get that. I understand that.
But you can call them out.
But you can call them out, yeah.
You're not going to have any Democrat that's going to call any Democrat out, except for unless her name is Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah.
Well, and then all of a sudden she's a Russian asset.
I didn't get to discuss that on Drunken Debates, but Tulsi Gabbard, dude, I love it when I'm right. I love it when I'm right. Like Mary and I was having a conversation like that, and she's like, "You just really love to win arguments." Like, well, name me one person who enjoys losing arguments. It's like, why would you want like? It's like, yeah, you beat me in soccer in your face, or like that movie Kung Pao. It's like, yeah, your face meets my fist, or your fist meets my face. How did that feel? Like, wait, what? Huh? So the point being, though, was that I called it. I was like, if you want to win these elections in the future, if you're wanting to flip these states, you've got to get the fringe Democrats to come over. And I think Tulsi is coming over. She spoke at CPAC. Yeah. You know, she was embraced by the conservative movement. She still has strong 2A stances, and I disagree with that. But if you can win the Tulsis over to come over and bring with them their following, their loyal people that believe in them, you're going to start seeing these blue states flip red. You're going to start seeing these local elections turn red, and you're going to start seeing the country going in a very good direction. So you're not going to be able to get your cake and eat it too, to where you have your Mark Dices out there saying that we should have, theocracy rules all, but you're still going to have an economically sound country. Yeah. You're still going to have respected rights for all people out there. I think it's the best of both worlds. But with Democrats in charge, now you have insanity. You have inflation. You've got high gas prices. You've got drag time story hour. You've got perversion in the streets. Like, when you start flipping these things, you start seeing that it works better. Yeah. Like Dallas compared to Fort Worth. You walk downtown Dallas, there's people shitting all over the place. There's homelessness everywhere. Fort Worth, completely different. Completely different. Which is nuts to me.
I know. Downtown Fort Worth is so nice.
It's beautiful down there. You go downtown Dallas, like, fuck this.
I know, it's dirty.
It's dirty. It's nasty. This is what Democrats do.
My dad, he's got that building downtown, and he pays like $50,000 a year in property taxes. I mean, it's insane.
Jesus.
You know what's upsetting, too, about Tulsi Gabbard is that they said that she had somebody with Russian ties that made
Hillary accused her of that, and then Romney. Romney, this is where I just don't get.
Douchebag.
He's an idiot. He accused her of treason. She's a lieutenant colonel in the Army.
It was a $59 donation to her campaign.
Wait, what was this? What are you talking about?
It was somebody who had some Russian ties, made a donation to her campaign for like $59.
This is the insanity and the stupidity of our country.
They
it's
have
guilt by association.
Hunter Biden's laptop with his signature, all the evidence in the world, all this evidence about his son and Biden and the Ukraine making all these gas deals. Yeah. But they were able to.
You got to wonder why Romney's not calling that out. Like, who's he on the take from, bro? Who's paying you, bro?
See, as, I don't know, a libertarian, I could call a Republican a douchebag when they're douchebags.
Absolutely.
So the politicians.
That's why I love in drunken debates.
By and large, are like scumbags.
I had one of the guys the other night in drunken debates. We were talking about transgenderism, and it was Prime, and he was really respectful. I like him. He's a good dude. He was like, look, your side's talking points like, oh, no. You don't get to use that on me. No. My side, what is my side? I was like, well, Republicans, like, I'm not a Republican.
Right.
I was like, you don't get to use those talking. There is nothing more dangerous than a libertarian that kind of goes both ways. Like, I do believe progressively we should be more liberal-minded in a sense, just for freedom purposes. It means I also don't agree with it, but I believe for freedom purposes. But fiscally, economically, I'm a conservative. I wouldn't say I'm a full-blown isolationist, but I'm not a big pro-foreign government or foreign intervention. I'm not. So when somebody tries to debate you, it's like, you can throw those Republican talking points out the window. Yeah. Because I don't use them. I was like, I don't agree with half of them.
If your biggest thing is gay marriage, like, okay, fine.
Gotcha.
That's less government, fewer taxes. Government can't They can't do anything.
I understand the mindset that a lot of these guys come from. It's like, I don't believe in gay marriage. Okay, well then don't go marry the same sex. Yeah. Well, I don't believe other people should do it too. What gives you that right? That defeats the whole premise behind
keep that
American
shit out
value.
of school.
Exactly.
That's like, I'll say keep it out of school. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't be talking to anybody about that. Like when I had my son's Cub Scout, we went out camping overnight. Mm-hmm. There was a lesbian couple there with their kids. I'm like, okay. Didn't really bother me that much until they started getting super affectionate. And I'm like, okay. But I would be that way too if it was just a regular man and woman sitting next to each other. Getting handsy.
Were they getting... Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, no, that's... No.
Yeah, and I'm like...
Straight couple or not, you don't do that in front of children.
Any couple. Like, like, okay.
But, instantly leftists get takes, you have a problem with two women? It's like, no, I watch gay porn all the time. I watch lesbians going at it all the fucking time. It's like, but if you're in public around children, there should be some modicum of being an adult, not being, you keep that shit in the bedroom.
Keep it in the bedroom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't bring it around my kids or
I don't care if you're gay or straight. It's
like, do that shit around in your house, fine. But when you go out in public,
even in front of children, like getting it on like a makeout session in front of children, no, absolutely not. Not as parents. I mean, it's okay to like if they see you hug, kiss, hold hands, be affectionate towards each other. But if I'm sitting there like trying to slip my hand under a shirt and get to like second base, no, that's wrong. You shouldn't be teaching children that because
especially Boy Scouts, like it's totally changed.
Oh yeah. Oh, I saw Austin Peterson. Like, I love Austin. I got a lot of respect for him, but I think I don't know where Austin's going. He is a huge fan of Marjorie Taylor Greene now. And then I talked about this in the other show, he tried quoting that she has a Liberty score of like 90-something%. I was like, and I hated being that guy. I was in his comments like, dude, Liberty score is ran by Blaze Media. I was like, these are all opinions. I was like, Bongino used the same thing to combat. Because remember, we talked about how Bongino
Kinzinger
was going after Crenshaw, who said Kinzinger's voting record was 99% in line with Trump's agenda up until the end. was like, so Bongino's like, oh, he's not a bedrock Republican. And Crenshaw's like, actually, he is compared to based upon his voting record. And I agree with Crenshaw on that one.
I don't think Kinzinger, I don't think he's running for re-election.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
But he's also said that if Trump runs again, he's going to do everything in his power to make sure he doesn't get elected. Kinzinger's career is over.
Yeah.
So, but Bongino's issue, though, was he's saying that he's not some kind of diehard bedrock Republican. I was like, well, if all that matters is the voting record, like Austin Peterson tried to reference with Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's like, yes, they are. I was like, now, they might say something you differ in opinion on, but Crenshaw had a good point there. He was saying that if you look at Kinzinger's actual voting record, it aligned with what Trump's agenda was. So according to Bongino and the rest of these guys, Trump is the epitome of conservatism. It's the party that one dude said, we're the party of Trump. It's like, no, the fuck we're not. We shouldn't be. We should be the party of no one. We should be the party of the Constitution. That's it. When you point that type of viewership or leadership on one man, that man becomes king. Then his influence sways the direction of the party. I don't agree with that. But anyway, the point was, though, that Austin said that Marjorie Taylor Greene got a high Liberty Report score. It's like that score means nothing. It's come from the Blaze Media.
Yeah.
Like that's ran by Glenn Beck. And Glenn Beck, in my opinion, he's not somebody that I'm going to hitch my wagon with. Like I've listened to Beck speak. I'm not a huge fan.
No, he shot himself in the foot as soon as he was like start bashing Trump right out of the gate.
He jumped trains so quick. And he's another populist.
If you're a journalist, just be a journalist.
Yeah.
You know, try to report down the middle.
Glenn Beck's not a journalist. He's a political. He's a Hannity. He's another Hannity. He's just not on Fox.
I know, but the Blaze, is it a opinion?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
or is it like they're actual journalists doing journalistic?
Oh, yeah, I think it's a mix of both, honestly.
Yeah,
I think they're just like any other MSM outlet to where they have the factual side of it, but a lot of it is rooted in opinion-based reporting. Because I know there's Elijah and the rest of those guys over there that work with the Blaze. Mm-hmm. And I don't agree with a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, but there's a few things with them that they post that I don't agree with either. But going back to the original point, though, is that when you use these scores, these Liberty scores from these conservative think tanks, well, of course, they're going to be the gatekeepers of who gets a good score and who doesn't.
Right.
But if you go to that like 525 or 535 website, you can actually look at the voting record. Because remember we did that live. I did it live on a Twitch stream one night. I was like, let's go to the Liberty score. And it gives a very rough rundown. And when they're talking about the bills, they're even paraphrasing the bills. It's like, no, put the actual information of what is there. I want to see the actual bill and how they voted. So you can tell it's very roughly done. Versus the other one where you can actually see the voting record if they voted yes or no, whatever the case may be. And you can see their voting pattern. And they even go into voted pro GOP or voted against it. So you can see that as well. But even still, you can use that Liberty score to justify whether they're a good conservative or not. But if we use that same method of thinking, then Kinzinger, who voted 99% in line with Trump and then comes around and starts bashing Trump, is he a good conservative or not? Well, if you're going to give him a Liberty score, then go by just that. Therefore, he's a good Republican. Or if you go by what they say, he's not. Me, I think they're both idiots. I think they're both stupid. I do. I don't want any more Marjorie Taylor Greenes. I don't. I think these are the people that, quite honestly, they're the Congressional Karens. They're the Congressional Karens. And I warned Peterson, I'm just like, dude, look at what Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk did to Kanye West. Kanye opened his mouth, but because he's a black celebrity, oh, we got one. You know, we got like the Great White Buffalo. We got a great black buffalo. But I'm sitting there, it's like you're attaching yourself to this rocket that's going to blow up because this guy's an idiot. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not the sharpest tool in the chandelier. She's not. I mean, she says a lot of great things, don't get me wrong, but then she's telling the Ukrainians, lay down your arms and surrender. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You're only getting more people killed. It's like, you're a congresswoman. Like, far be it from me to ever interject my opinion. Like, that's where people don't understand, like, my perspective. It's like, I'm just I give my opinion. I'm not a congressman. So if I was in Congress, you better believe I'm not going to be saying a lot of the shit that I'm saying now, because at that point, you're on the international spotlight and you've got way more pull than just John Burke on a podcast. Now you're a sitting member of Congress. Like, I could get away with saying, I hope somebody assassinates the shit out of Putin. Lindsey Graham says it and it's like, dude, are you fucking stupid? There's a difference there.
And stuck by it.
He did. Yeah, the guy's just an idiot. He's a moron. Like Lindsey Graham, he's a populist, just like all politicians. He feels like, oh, everybody hates Russia, so I can make an anti-Russian statement to like the nth degree. And then Facebook even says you can call for violence against Russians. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? I would rather call for violence against Facebook. I would, and Instagram. Absolutely. Every single one of their employees, 100%. 100%. They've done more damage to America than Russia has. Why not? They've actually meddled and influenced elections. That has led to a lot of the shit that's happening in the world. I'm being serious here. I hate Mark Zuckerberg. I hate him. I think this guy is a very evil person. I really do. This guy, honestly, I believe he is all for fascism.
Yeah.
I truly do. And he uses his platforms to enforce this, which again, it's his platform. I get that. But how you utilize your platform says a lot about you. So,
if you're getting government subsidies, then
then
I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. Then you should not have any political favoritism whatsoever.
But they do.
Oh, absolutely they do.
So it's
he even made donations.
Right. I mean,
absolutely.
You can make the argument that his financial influence into certain areas made it so where the Democrats could win.
Yeah.
That and all the other ballots that were mailed in. And it turns out, looks like Georgia's going to be doing their audits or their votes are getting subpoenaed.
Good. I mean,
it should be.
It should be. Yeah.
You look at Arizona, you look at Wisconsin, all these other states.
We need stricter, but I absolutely love how Democrats instantly combat that is, this is going to, like, I what was I listening to? I was listening to, I think it was Pandora. I was listening to Pandora music over the weekend, and I heard an ad come on saying that we need to fight back against these voter bills because it's restricting the rights of black people voting. It's like, name me where. Show me where.
Yeah.
But people buy into this rhetoric. Black people buy into this because a lot of people don't think. A lot of black people don't think because you keep voting Democrat. You keep voting for the very same party that keeps you poor, that keeps you taxed out the ass. Like, you're not thinking. If you were thinking, you would not be voting blue anymore. But they buy into this rhetoric. Stacey Abrams, the one who said that Trump lost, yet she had an election stolen from her. She had some guest appearance on some Star Trek show where she was the president of the United Earth Federation, some shit like that. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I don't want that cunt leading me. Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely. Just the biggest fucking idiot. But all they do is parrot these talking points of Republicans are racist. These laws hate black people. Where are the other minorities in this? It's always black people. There are never any other minorities that come out there and say this same shit. Because you know why? They're actually thriving in America. And for some reason, black people aren't, according to them. I look at these other minorities, and they're damn well off.
I know.
Because their culture is not one of violence. Their culture is not one that degrades itself.
Or if you look at, I think it's like the Indian population, like 70% of Indian kids go to college. If you look at like the Asian community,
but there's also a reason
like
for
70+%.
That's us paying for it, and I disagree with that too. I think Native Americans have it way too good in this country. They have a huge economic advantage over anybody else.
The Indians.
Yeah, Native Americans.
Not Native Americans, but...
Oh, you're talking about Indians, like Hindu from actually India country. Okay, gotcha. Oh, yeah. Yeah, even Asian.
Right.
Asian culture is very hard on their children. Like, they push them to thrive, to study, to be... Because there was that meme going around that was rooted in actual truth. Remember there was that Asian astronaut who was also, I think he was a Navy SEAL, he was a doctor, and he's an astronaut. Remember this? And he's a real dude. Like, this guy is like, he's insanely intelligent. This guy's accomplished so much. Like, sorry, David Goggins. This guy makes you look like a bitch. Now, I'm playing. I'm David Goggins is the really strong athlete. He's a runner. He was a Navy SEAL and an Army Ranger, which I think has very rarely been done. I think maybe he was the first, and he did the book Harder to Kill. He's a very insightful guy. He's a very motivated. Like, I actually competed with him on American Grit. Like, it was down to me and him, and they actually picked me, why, I don't know. I don't know, because you go look at this dude's like, oh, he's way fucking, I was drill sergeant back then, but David Goggins was... Like, I don't think he was as well known, but he was somewhat well known. But anyway, the point being is that I just feel like, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's so much there, like every stereotype exists from a kernel of truth, and I've said this multiple times. But the point that I was making is the guy on the meme, the Asian guy on the meme, is that he was all these very difficult professions to get into. And somebody memed it and said, well, he's Asian, so his parents are probably still not happy with him. Like, and it goes to prove that there's a lot of people, there's a lot of in the Asian communities, they are pushed hard. They, like, the East is very honor-based, insanely honor-based. The West isn't. So in Eastern cultures, family, honor, it means everything.
Yeah.
Over in America, we don't give a shit. If somebody disgraces you, you disgrace your name, nobody cares.
We before our kids got into the school that they're in now, they were going to like pre-K and threes and stuff like that, and it was pretty heavily Asian populated.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, I felt it was good for our kids because all the parents were involved. The kids were really nice.
Yeah.
Everybody just, it was a good situation.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time our kids got to kindergarten, and started reading and stuff, they were already ahead of the other kids because they were, putting in the work and just being around other kids, just like, iron sharpens steel sharpens steel. That's, it's good. I'm glad they went through that experience to be able to.
I think there's just a lot
to
be talked about in the culture war, in cultures, like various different races, cultures. It's like, I'm sorry, but, it seems like to me, like black people have dominated the culture narrative because you scream the loudest at apparently this discrimination that occurs at such a high level, yet other minorities are not even talking about nearly the amount that you're talking about, like whatsoever. And you'd feel like as an even lower minority, they'd be even more vocal. But, it's nuts to me. And to the point that if we even talk about this, well, you're a racist. Like, no, I'm not. It's like we're watching it unfold live. Like to sit there and call out hypocrisy from a certain race, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't make me racist. It just means you're full of shit and you want the rules bent in your favor. No. Even Native Americans, they've been given, they were treated really bad in the past, but how long should you reap taxpayer money to where all your stuff's paid for? Like, that's not really, if you think about it, why do Native Americans have access to casino, things such as that, yet black people don't? Native Americans were slaughtered. Mm-hmm. They were murdered, but then they were also killing each other. Black people were enslaved. They were murdered. Why don't black people get the same type of benefits that Native Americans do? Why do Native Americans? And I know we can go further down that rabbit hole. There's probably a lot of stuff I'm not covering on that. But the point still stands. Unless you were a slave, then no, you should not be getting anything as reparations or anything like that. I'm sorry, you just shouldn't. The Irish were kicked off of certain lands. The Chinese were kicked off of certain lands, even here in America. Should they be afforded, their generations down be afforded reparations or welfare, I guess, in a sense? Taxpayer-funded welfare programs. Like, again, like we talked about before with Elizabeth Warren. She knew. Yeah. People know by claiming minority on an application into college, you're getting a leg up.
Back in the 70s.
Yeah, so this white privilege that everybody continues to claim exists doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it does, but it's rooted in racism. The comparison people try and make is, well, if you go to a job and a black person goes to a job, you have the same name, same qualifications, but they pick you because the higher guy is white. Well, that's not white privilege. That's racism. Like, call it what it is. That's racism, and I disagree with that. But to call that white privilege when the same thing exists for black people. Oh, no, it doesn't. So you're telling me that a black person wouldn't hire another black person based upon the simple fact that they're black? Shut the fuck up. But leftists don't want to have those conversations. They don't want to have those arguments because they lose. Because, again, you can't twist the narrative and change the rules to fit what you want it to. Because ultimately, it's not about equality. It's about privilege. You want privilege. That's all it is. So, all right. Holly, so right now, there is a live discussion going on into the Biden's Supreme Court nomination. I haven't delved too much into this, so I'm reading these headlines, and I'm doing this with y'all. So, Senator Holly says, Ketanji Brown Jackson, lenient on child sex predators, soft on crime. Monday on FNC's Fox and Friends, Senator Josh Hawley called into question Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's record ahead of her confirmation hearing on the U.S. Supreme Court. Hawley, pointing out Jackson's time on the bench, suggested Jackson had been lenient on child sex predators and soft on crime. He said that Senate Judiciary Committee needed to know whether Jackson would protect the nation's children or the sexual predators. It's her record, Brian, is really what concerns me, Hawley outlined. And in particular, just to take one example, if you look at what she has done with child porn offenders, while she has been on the bench, Judge Jackson, in every case in which she has had a child porn offender in front of her, she has given that a person a lenient sentence, lower than what the federal guidelines recommend, lower than what prosecutors from the government sought. And in fact, she did it in case after case. And going back to her time on the Sentencing Commission, Brian, therefore, she was on the bench. She wanted to eliminate the current mandatory minimum sentence for child porn offenders. As far back as law school, she talked about questioning whether child sex offenders registries are even constitutional. Ooh. I've never thought about that. Well, yes, absolutely. Wait, if you're... Man, that's a tough one, because I'm not thinking specifically of child pornographers. I'm talking about crime in general. Should your criminal record be publicly available to people? I don't think it should. There's a lot that goes into that. Like that should be another topic for drunken debates.
But can't you already find someone's criminal record if you look, like, do a background check on them?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think you should be able to, because I feel like that's almost like public humiliation in an extent.
You know, if I'm a employer, I want to know who I'm hiring. So if like, okay,
I get you there. Yeah, I get you.
He's convicted of a
but we also
sex crime.
But we also have to take into account, though, if we were wanting to rehabilitate people, not just child pornography, I'm talking about everybody.
Well, then I would have the option to do that. I mean, I'd like to know everything about somebody I'm bringing into into the building and bringing around.
What's the difference
people.
between that and then a medical history, whether a COVID or not?
Well, you had the decision to commit a crime, right?
I'm just talking about information in general, though, because that definitely poses a very interesting, intricate topic. Because if it's not somebody's right to know your medical history, why would it be somebody's right to know your criminal history?
Because you committed a crime.
No, I understand that. I know it's not so simplistic. I know where you're coming from on that, but it's just kind of like, you know, I guess I could agree with you, because when you commit a crime, you are essentially violating somebody else's rights. Therefore, Constitution's now off the table. I can understand that. But also, I guess that also depends on the crime. Because there are victimless crimes, like not wearing your seatbelt. You know, who's the victim there? Me, ultimately.
Is that going to show up on your record?
Yeah.
If you get a ticket? Like,
oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Those are traffic fines.
Yeah, I guess the severity of the crime should come to context.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're
just
convicted of armed robbery, and
but at the same token, though, if we're wanting to rehabilitate these people, and that person can't go out there and get a good job, because let's say, for example, Amory King. Amory King did it. He's a felon, but he robbed somebody at gunpoint when he was 16. 16. He still can't own a gun. Now, when you've paid your debt to society, I feel like that should kind of be hidden from society, because now you've done the time, and then now focus should be on rehabilitation. And if that person can't go out there and get a good job based upon what they did years ago, how are they supposed to rehabilitate without falling back into the same pattern they knew paid them money? Like, how are we supposed to get a drug dealer off the street when he does his time, pays his debt to society, and nobody's going to hire him, so he goes back to slinging drugs?
Well, there's other people that, I mean, there's places of employment that'll take in convicts.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have a problem.
I'm not saying that, like, as a young person, you make some bad decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, I know most of us probably know people like that who didn't make the greatest decision, but, you know.
Now, you see, here's the other part, though. Like, this is not so simplistic as I wanted it to be. Like, if somebody's like a pedophile that has actually had sex with children, I don't want to hire them. Like, in fact, I want them dead.
If it's someone that just has child pornography on their computer or something that's their thing, I don't want them in my building.
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
I mean, that shit's...
that's just such a fucking hard... Oh, that's a good topic of discussion. And that's not me agreeing or disagreeing. I know people are like, oh my God, John supports it. No, I'm just saying from a constitutional aspect, is this... And I think preliminary opinion is going to have to be, yes, I think it's still right, because, again, you violated a law. But then again, then you have laws that are not actual justified laws. Like, that's a very slippery slope. It's a very slippery, because, like, again, we have like blue line law in Texas, blue laws. Like, you can't go purchase liquor on a Sunday. Why? That's stupid. Fuck that law. Like, what gives you the right to tell a business owner you can't sell this product on this day? Fuck the government. But if a business owner says, fuck you, I'm going to do it anyway. I was like, well, then you just committed a crime. Therefore,
if I did a background check on somebody, and let's say one person was convicted of armed robbery,
right,
and then the other person that's interviewing for a job was busted for selling drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody was busted for selling drugs, I'm probably not going to be that concerned.
We sell drugs. I mean, we do. I mean, people ask me, like, what do you do? It's like, I sell drugs.
Well, it's CBD.
And Delta 8.
Temp. It's legal.
Yeah. You know, it's still a drug.
I mean, sure. But
you get where I'm coming from. Though.
Yeah, but it's still the same. It's like, okay, if somebody was selling, it's the type of crime that's committed that would determine whether or not I'd want to put myself in that situation to be able to, like, this is something I want to deal with right now.
But at the same token, though, say like you had a child pornographer that was trying to get a job somewhere and nobody would hire him. What other resort does he or she have to do to earn an income?
Well, hopefully they're in prison. So
no,
I mean,
not always the case. You know, I'm not trying to bring her up by name. It's the name we do not speak of here. But I had an ex that's what she did. And there's a lot of them on the streets. Like here in Dallas and Texas, people don't realize the overwhelming, I shouldn't say the majority, a large, over 50% are illegal immigrants from Mexico.
Yeah.
Child pornographers, things such as that, human sex trafficking. It ain't just the people think it is. It's illegal immigration that is coming. A lot of it is bringing. I'm not saying they're all like that. Don't get me wrong. But the fact is, though, if it's a legal citizen and they can't get
Mexico is sending its people.
It's sending it. They're not sending us their best. Oh, my God, Trump's racist. Like, why? He's being truthful. And he's honest. He's right. It's like they're not sending us their best. So he was referring to MS-13 gang members on that one. But still, the point still stands. Is like if we want to rehabilitate these people to be functioning members of society and they cannot get a job based upon a crime they committed, don't get me wrong, like the crime is disgusting, morally reprehensible. I guess I'm posing this question to everybody. What are they supposed to do to make ends meet? Then again, there are things. Well, like would Uber hire them? Would Lyft hire them? I don't think they will.
Really?
Maybe they will. I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know, but that's a situation you don't want to put yourself in.
Oh hell no, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, if you
and maybe that's the ramifications. Like you're always going to be poor, but then again, they go on government subsidies, and we wind up financing them anyway. I'd at least like to get some work out of them before we actually pay for their fucking welfare. Make them do something.
Go to the dump.
Yeah, go to the
dump. Stack trash.
Yeah,
do that.
I mean, and I feel that'd be fair because that's the situation that you put yourself into.
Right.
You know, we have to have the ramifications of our actions.
We're still building railroads. Get them out there, swinging a hammer.
Yeah, let's get that chain gang started again. Let's do that hard labor, breaking rocks. Let's send them over to Russia and the Gulag.
I mean, people need license plates, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think that will be a topic of discussion for Drunken Debates. I think this Drunken Debates, I'm going to have an all-conservative panel. That's what I want to do. An all-conservative, but I'm going to hit them with the evangelical, and I'm going to hit them with the constitutional. I think that's going to be fun. That'll be fun. Watching conservatives argue is like, yes, this is what we need.
Get after it.
I got to see. Austin Peterson said he'd come back on too, so I got to see if he'd come on. That'd be fun, especially constitutionally based questions.
I'd like to see if Tulsi would come on.
Tulsi, she won't even come on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean,
she keeps blowing me off. Like her and Gina Carano, I love them both, but it's kind of like every time I ask, like, do people like Gina was like, I don't think people really want to listen to me. It's like, yes, they do. They love you. Like, take the fucking compliment. But Tulsi's like, I'm busy, and it's just like, all right, whatever.
It just works out for her. I mean,
yeah, I've tried to get him on. So we'll see. I'll reach out again here in a little while just to see, but she's been all over the news. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Biden's approval rating is 36% impacting battleground states. President Joe Biden's nationwide approval rating is dangerously low at 36%, impacting races down ballot in battleground states, a Monday Civics poll revealed. While 55% disapprove of Biden's performance, independents are majority. Wait, who did this poll? That's the other thing. I want to know where this poll was conducted, how many people were polled. Like, that's a big one. It's like, well, we polled 1,200 people out of Texas. Like, well, no shit, he polled low. Nick, no shit. Like, is this like a nationwide polling? That's what I want to know. So, I don't know. Again, among independents, only 24% approved of Biden, 66% disapproved. The lack of support among independents for Biden is impacting battleground states where Republicans hope to defeat Democrats in November. I've called this. It's the fringe that you want to bring over. You bring that fringe over, these states are going to flip. In Georgia, a state where Donald Trump narrowly lost to Biden in 2020 by less than 0.5%, is polling poorly for the president. Only 32% of Georgians approved of Biden, 58% disapproved. Biden's approval rating in Georgia may greatly impact the race for governor. Radical Democrat candidate Stacey Abrams will likely be dragged down in her race against Governor Brian Kemp or former Senator David Perdue. Look, here's the other part, Republicans. Here's the other part. You need to learn. Learn from libertarians. Stop, like you have these races where you can legitimately win. Stop putting stupid candidates out there to run against them. Put a strong candidate. You've got to have a strong conservative. And when I say conservative, I don't mean evangelical. I mean a pro-liberty conservative. Stop putting out your fucking Joe Jorgensens. The ones that, like, initially she starts gaining some traction, and then it's like, oh, well, by the way, I'm for open borders. Like, are you fucking retarded?
Gary Johnson. Like, Jesus. Like, if you really want to have a shot at anything, stop putting your loons out there. Like, put, like, some legitimate candidates. Like, that's what kind of pissed me off. Like, I felt like Austin Peterson presented a very good candidate. This guy is pro-liberty. He's pro-constitution. But conservatives don't like that. Yeah.
They don't like hearing, like, I believe two men should be able to get married and guard their farms with AR-15s and machine guns. Like, wait, what? It's like, no, I agree. Well, gay, marriage is a religious, thing. It's like, or how about you just do whatever the fuck you want?
Yeah, I think Austin Peterson should run again at some point.
I don't think he will. He ran for presidency. He ran for Congress, lost in both. I don't think he will. I don't think America is ready for more pro-libertarian politicians to that extent.
Well, the presidency was a little bit of a stretch.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, libertarians aren't going to take that.
For a senator or congressman, I think.
Well, that's the other hard part, though. You'd have to. I think he did.
He's a young guy. What is he like?
He's in his 30s.
32, 33.
But he's also,
34.
that's one of those topics where you're going to have to run as a Republican because libertarians, they never make any ground. You never gain any ground.
Not unless you split the Republican Party.
Yeah. Well, even if you split it. To secure a primary as a...
I think you could probably get some Democrats, some fringe Democrats to...
Probably.
You just get people who are... I mean, that's why Trump did so well. Yeah. I mean, really, if you look at he was a blue dog Democrat.
Yeah.
Most of his life.
For a long time, yeah.
Yeah. So...
Conservatives conveniently forget that, though.
Yeah.
It's like, we worship Trump. It's like,
okay, he changed his stance on abortion. Sure he did.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. As long as he... secured the border. He just did everything that he said he was going to do.
Not everything.
For the most part.
Yeah.
And,
still waiting on that marijuana to get legalized. So.
In less than 4 years.
Yeah. I'm not knocking. Yeah, he did a great job.
He fought most of the government on putting a wall down at the southern border.
Yeah.
And then moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, which
he did.
Every president back to, I don't know, Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. They were going to do and never did.
They never did it. Why?
Yeah.
But they ran on it every election cycle. Why didn't they do it?
Yep.
Did
Biden undo that? I forget.
I don't think so.
Probably didn't want to fuck with it. The lack of support among independents for Biden is impacting battleground states where Republicans hope to defeat Democrats in November. In Georgia, a state where I already read that one. Senator Raphael Warnock, Democrat of Georgia, will also have a tough time contending with Republican challenger Herschel Walker amid the president's sagging approval numbers. And you're looking at this polling here. New Civics. This is on 3/20/2022. It's not looking good. It's not. It's like, in fact, it's the opposite of the 2020 election night where Biden's number just went up. This one's like going down.
I still think like all the irregularities of the 2020 election. I don't think these people would have been elected.
Fuck no.
Yeah. So it's
just like everything else in the press, and I hate to say it, but it's kind of like until you come up with hard evidence, I don't know what to say. But the hard evidence is coming up.
Yeah.
Too little, too late.
Yeah. My gut tells me that they cheated.
I think so too. But the same token, without facts and proof, which we're getting now, these audits are actually occurring in Georgia and things like that. So with that one, it's like I can change my mind later, but I can still have the suspicion of I think they did cheat. It's like, where's the proof? It's like, it's just a gut feeling. Let's see what the actual audits turn out. Just the same with the Steele dossier.
Right.
The same with the Hunter Biden laptop. People are calling it from the get-go. But then later it comes out to be truth, and by that time, nobody fucking cares.
Yep.
And the damage is already done. The election's already happened. They're not going to go back and overturn this. They won't.
Right.
I haven't had a dude on my Instagram the other day still peddling Q shit. He's like, "Where's Q been wrong?" It's like, are you fucking stupid? I think you're legit. And I told him, you need to leave. You need to leave. I don't want you here on my. I don't like you people. I think you are conspiracy. You are the epitome of what an actual conspiracy. Where's he been wrong? Hillary's not elected. Trump lost. JFK Jr. did not fucking resurrect from the dead. All this conspiracy. Because even the thing I asked was like, who is Q? Who is Q? Oh, he's somebody in the deep state. You seem to think with all of the technology that we have, the ability to IP everything, you're telling me they couldn't figure out who Q was. Are you really that stupid? Q was a bullshit psyop. It was a psyop. That's all it was.
Yeah. As soon as you start putting dates on things, then it's probably going to be a scam.
It's bullshit. And then the conspiracy theory
watch
that
May
dawned.
This, watch May the 5th or April then something.
Yeah, 100%.
They're held in all these.
Biden's actually going to be arrested on inauguration.
These military tribunal. It's
Okay. Well, and a lot
Trump
of that
is still president.
A lot of that blame that on the conspiracy theory types that were spawned from the Q movement. That essentially, it's like, if you want to look at what a movement does, look at the offspring of said movement to where it's not controlled. Q was political prophesying, and I don't agree with that.
No,
I don't agree with that. Well, it was a deep state operative. It's like, really? Are you telling me that there was a deep state operative blowing the whistle on the administration and the government didn't try and silence it? Are you serious? Like, stop with this insanity. But all of these Q conspiracy theorists, like, again, the very same people out there in the influencer spectrum that promoted it and never apologized. They never recanted. They just like, oh, well, I'm just going to stop peddling Q shit and we'll just keep moving on. It's like, I'm sorry. Marjorie Taylor Greene did it.
Yeah.
And then I had some people like, give me a quote. Like, go research for yourself. She openly admitted it. She peddled the QAnon tripe. So I'm sorry, but if you want somebody to represent you in the political spectrum, I want them to have enough sound enough mind to be able to look at a possible conspiracy theory and say, I don't agree with that, or I don't believe, or I like, look, I don't know what they're saying, but I'm going to go by hard evidence and hard facts of what I've got now. That's who I want to represent me. I don't want a Jewish space laser pushing fucking Congressional Karen. I don't. That's an embarrassment to me. Absolutely not. Because if you fall for that, what else will you fall for?
Right. Well, I don't think people who believed in QAnon are bad people.
I think they're dangerous. I think they're very dangerous.
I don't know that they're. I think they were trying to latch on to some sort of hope that this country isn't going to be where it is right now.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So, I mean, looking into the future from 2020, you had people saying that gasoline. You had Donald Trump saying gasoline prices are going to be $6, $7, $8, $10.
But that's all based upon Democratic
he said
history.
That before.
Yeah.
The election.
Yeah.
All right.
Because he already knew
laid
Biden's
it out.
policies. Yeah.
He knew what was going to happen. So we all had this fear of where we're going to be.
Anybody could have called it. I mean,
Right.
you could have called that. That could have been like, we know Democrats love raising taxes. They are not for, they are all for green energy locally, but they want to outsource.
I mean, but there wasn't any
know.
sugarcoating.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this is where we are.
There's a difference
Did you really
between
think that gasoline prices were going to be where they are right now?
Not to this level, no.
Yeah. So
I did not see Biden doing what he did right off the bat. I was like, fuck me
but
running.
immediately, just like totally fucked up our economy.
Jesus,
Within minutes.
Yeah.
It took him several minutes.
Yeah.
Just
a few signatures using those executive orders to undermine everything Trump did with executive orders.
So I think you had people like believing in this movement that things were going to be different, and it wasn't. Yeah. You know, the only thing that's going to fix what's going on right now is
a great
stricter
reset.
Election policies.
I think a great reset in a sense of the power do not relinquish power. Congress is never going to shrink itself.
They just gave themselves a 21% raise.
The only way this gets fixed.
That's what the government thinks they're doing good.
Yeah.
The government is patting themselves on the back, giving each other high fives, saying, oh, we're doing awesome. Let's give ourselves a raise.
The ship is literally on fire, and they're like celebrating. Yeah. They put out the fire on the poop deck. It's like, no, there's still way more fire. Like, you should not. And oh, by the way, you caused the fire. Right. Like, so I'm not really sure. It's like, or I said the example before. It's like an arsonist Democrat sets the house on fire, runs in to get the baby. It's like, oh, we saved the baby. It's like, you're the one that put the baby in jeopardy. What the fuck are you talking about? You should not be congratulated.
They're going to raise our taxes and then tell us to give $15 livable wage.
Did you see this? Did you see this tweet?
Want us to give health care to everybody, and then at the same time, they're going to increase our taxes.
Well, this is where Zoomers come in. They don't know economically what they're talking about. It's like, oh, everybody should have health care, so you're fine with paying for that. Well, yeah, I'm okay. It's like, really? Because I'm not. But what gives you the right to spend my money without my consent?
Yeah.
To first spend my money, you first have to take my money. You are stealing from me. I don't give a fuck about your grandma. I don't care. Like, and this is where this globalist mindset's coming in that even conservatives are falling for as far as Ukraine goes. Like last night on the Drunken debates, these panelists, all the lefties were for, we should do more. We should do more. Like, who's we? Who's we? Are you going to go fight
the government all the money?
Yeah.
Every single cent you have, and they're still gonna
fuck it up.
Yeah, they're gonna go out and buy themselves a jet.
Yep.
Go on a nice vacation, set their family members.
Well, we've covered that point before to where it's like, if you want to essentially limit government spending, secure the coffers. Make sure the coffers are bone dry. Because again, we've used this point many times. Like, if you're down to your last $100, what are you spending it on? Priorities: food, water, bills, gasoline. Well, now you're spending the whole $100.
You're not going to be able to go out and buy a $50,000 Tesla.
Exactly.
You stupid idiot.
Did you see that tweet? Who was it? I forget who. It was a Bloomberg or somebody tweeted.
Buttigieg?
No. It was an opinion poll or an opinion group, but they said it's a prominent one. They said, rising inflation, here's what you can do. Resort to eating lentils versus meat. Like, are you fucking serious? Like, all the quotes they give, it had the air of the Marie Antoinette, which, by the way, I realize that people are loving to see this, like the Marie Antoinette, but it was never proven. I hate being that guy because, again, nobody likes that guy. But actually, it was never actually proven she actually said that. The hell let them have cake. Because while the peasants, it was bad. And, I think she wound up getting her head chopped off as it is anyway. But the point being, though, the purpose of it still serves that it's the rich elite saying, just go buy a Tesla. I bought a Tesla, and I'm making payments, but that Tesla was $40,000 or $50,000. Yeah. The average American cannot afford that. No. And to install the 220 converter in your house runs you a good penny.
Yeah.
Like these rich elites, like I'm telling you, and this is the reason I'm being transparent here. We make good money. We do. We've worked our asses off to get that way. But even I sometimes forget what it's like that I can spend $100 now and it's not a big deal. But when I was not to this level that I am now, I pinched pennies.
Yeah.
But I'm still of the mindset and the realization of to go out and buy that Tesla, that's a lot of fucking money. Mm-hmm. To go out and drop that $100 on gas, that's a lot of money. To the average American, that is a lot of money. And these rich elites have forgotten that. They have forgotten that a lot of Americans are worried where their next cheeseburger's coming from. They live paycheck to paycheck, and I'm not faulting them for it. I'm not saying, oh, stop being poor. I'm saying these rich elites have lost that connection to the average American. Yeah. Most of our politicians have. When you're living on $175,000 a year, and Crenshaw says, that's not enough. Are you fucking high? Yes, it's enough. Yeah. I could make that. I could make that work. Like, you can if you want to. Man, it is coming down out there. Like, it's pouring. Yeah. I love that. But anyway, I feel like these elites, like, ladies and gentlemen, Democrat or Republican alike, it's the rich elites, and I understand where socialism and communism is coming from in our country because they see what these rich elites are saying, and it's like, how dare you? Like, we as Congress are going to raise your taxes, you're going to pay for other people's health care, and we're going to tax you into the poorhouse. Mm-hmm. Like, what gives you the right to dictate, we'll just go buy a Tesla because of rising gas prices, or just eat lentils instead of meat? Go fuck yourself.
Like the Stephen Colbert's, even Joe Rogan, like Bernie Sanders talking about socialized health care. You know, if you want to... If you want to donate to that cause,
you can go right ahead.
Yeah, set up a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Everybody donate to it. Who wants to donate to it? And then you could, disperse the funds as you see fit.
Prime example, and I don't think we should be paying for socialized. I'm going to suck my own dick on this one. I told you about this. I'm waiting to get the pictures back, but Shell Shock, we bought a scooter for a veteran who's actually in San Antonio. I think he's a Vietnam vet. This guy has a motorized electrical scooter. It's a left-handed joystick one. Somebody tagged me on Facebook. And I was like, okay, what can we do to help on this one? And this is a common theme I get. Everybody keeps talking about universal health care, government-ran health care. This guy is another, we talked to him live on the Twitch stream. I was high off my ass, whatever. I broke down crying because I've heard this. Dude, I can't tell you how many times I hear this. And that's, I know I'm scatterbrained right now. I cannot tell you how many times I have debate with these lefties on Twitch. And it's like, I believe in universal health care. How much digging have you done into universal health care? Because the best argument that we have is the VA. And I've been hand in hand with the VAs. I used to go around the country going after VAs to the point where I got broke and I couldn't afford to do it anymore because everybody thought as an influencer was making a lot of money. I never took handouts. But the thing that pissed me off is like, how much actual hands-on experience do you have in dealing with government health care? None. They have none.
Yeah.
You're not listening to the complaints of our veterans at the hands of the VA. You're not hearing about the substandard performance that are being given by a lot of healthcare workers out there because they were protected by the federal government from being fired. So therefore, you get a substandard performance. That's why capitalism in theory should work, but not corporatism.
Yeah.
When you have government interventionism. But the point was, this guy, his name is John also, by the way, which is really cool. He's been waiting months for his electric scooter to be fixed. And they keep jerking him around. So we bought him, and I told you this when you came into the office. You've been on vacation. Like, hey, by the way, Shell Shock paid $1,600 to get this guy a new scooter. I knew you wouldn't give a fuck. I paid for it. So if we don't want to take that back from Shell Shock, I'm fine. I know you'd be cool with it though, because I know you. But it's just another example of how when the reason I brought it up is the point you just made. Community takes care of community.
Yeah,
I have no problem helping out veterans
because you know where the money's going to go.
You know where the money's going. Now, I even purchased it live on Twitch. I said, guys, I'm going to show you the website. I hid my credit card shit, and I said it's been purchased. There's the number. There's the order. It's being sent directly to him, and people will invest in that because they know where the money's going. Yeah. You have full transparency, and I didn't ask for any donations. I said, based upon the money you've given me for Twitch, for us entertaining you, that, by the way, goes back to Shell Shock, it's like $1,600 just got cut off to go buy this guy a scooter. So that I'm fine with. But being taxed at a heavier percentile because the government knows what's best for me, no, it does not.
No.
Because the government is not here. It is not here in Dallas.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. That's why community-based programs work. It works.
That's the only thing that'll
100%.
Work. Like
100%.
Our government right now is
fucking
it's total
joke.
bullshit.
Yeah.
It's all nepotism.
Yep.
You have the Nancy Pelosi's who are have their spouses
trading so much in stocks. And that's what kind of pissed me off about Crenshaw's statement. Is like, well, we don't have any insider trading, but you have influence.
Yeah.
Like, how do you have influence? How do you not know this? Like, you can favor a government contract with Raytheon, buy Raytheon stock.
Yeah.
Like, how many of these sitting congressmen and women are buying stocks in these companies that they're awarding contracts to, especially prior to them even fucking approving it? You know what you're doing. Like, we're being treated as if we are stupid. Like, we are stupid. I'm just sitting there. Like, when Crenshaw told me that, I'm just kind of like, you can't be serious with that. Like, I'm sitting here. It's like, he's an intelligent guy. And I'm just like, are you really telling me that you don't think that you'll have any sway over, whatever. I don't want to go down that road. But that's why people hit me up on Instagram. Tell your buddy Crenshaw. I was like, you do realize I disagree with Crenshaw on a lot of shit, but he's one of the very few sitting congressmen that will actually come on the show and debate his points with me. He's one of the I've reached out to Cruz, Tulsi. Maybe it's because I just say fuck too much. I don't know. Or maybe they look at me as like the JV version of the podcast where it's like, oh, it's just John Burke.
Did Tulsi swear a lot when you were in Hawaii?
Damn right she did. She's a veteran. Of course we do. Crenshaw does too. These are human beings though, and I don't care. Yeah. Like, because I know in the political spectrum of conservatism, we must be private. We must have our red tie. We can't say, we have to live in a glass house. I'm not like that. I don't agree with that.
No.
You know, when people talked about Van Taylor getting his asshole licked by this free, I don't care. I don't care that you had an affair. That has nothing to do with me. No, that's your life. I want you to vote in accordance to what, like, this is the thing. You're there to represent my money. Leave my money the fuck alone. If you want to go get a rim job and cheat on your wife, dude, I think,
that relaxes you.
I don't fucking care. It's none of my business. That's why I talked about on the Twitch debates.
Do that one meme with Will Ferrell from Step Brothers. Mm-hmm. You know what would make my drink taste a lot better?
What?
If you lick my butthole.
I remember we used to do that in the Army. It's like, dude, have you seen that ammunition? No, like, why? It would be greater. It was like, what? If you lick my butthole? I was like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you.
Dude, that was
I remember that.
Hilarious.
That was good. We did that for a while. But the point still stands, though. It's like, you're there to represent my money. I don't give a shit what you do in your private life. If you're a piece of shit, like, here's the other thing. It's like, well, that's horrible. You really think that Trump didn't fuck Stormy Daniels and then give her that $250,000 in hush money? Like, Trump is probably a piece of shit human being. Like, you cannot tell me that when you sit there and it's literally on camera and you hear it, I could just go up to him and grab him by the pussy. You think Trump's lying about that? He's fucking serious. That's what comes with money.
Yeah.
But those women, like, the fact that it's just one of those things, like, the women, like, their stories get silenced a lot of the times because people don't want to address these things. That doesn't come from left versus right. It comes from the class of money. Money. You could just walk right up. I could just walk down Times Square and shoot somebody. And blah, blah, blah. He said these things.
Yeah.
As a politician, I think he did a damn good job. As a human being, I think he's probably a piece of shit.
Could be.
But here's the thing.
I don't know.
I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Because I am not going to sit there and hold my politicians to some kind of moral standard. All I care about is you vote in line with what I want, which, again, is not rooted in religious ideology. It's economics. Keep me out of these foreign fucking wars, lower my taxes, and then just let me be.
I know.
Let me be.
We were energy independent.
Yeah.
I know we weren't at war with anybody.
And that's the thing. That's the point that I'm making about Trump. I'm not trying to bash the guy.
Yeah.
But if Republicans are going to sit there and say that we need to have representatives that represent our morality, well, everybody's morality is different. So which morality is it? Which set of values is it? You know? And that's the other thing. Like, if you look at, like, congressmen and women that run, majority of which they need to be married. They should do their best to have kids because it presents this idea of the nuclear family.
Yeah.
No, I disagree. We need to progress in the sense of, what if is he a single guy? What if she is a single woman? Who cares? Who gives a fuck? Yeah. What if they're a married couple that don't want kids? That's fine.
If it's a homosexual who's a workhorse,
I don't give a shit.
Just wants lower taxes, no wars.
That's why Dave Rubin, I don't have beef with this guy.
Yeah,
like, I don't.
I don't care. Like, if they're doing a great job, do a great job.
Yeah. If you're out there pushing for lower taxes, we're on the same team.
Right.
We just split hairs over the small grass stuff. But the big grass shit is what we should be identifying and working on.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, we don't need any infighting. Yes, we do. We need to purge ourselves of the ranks of everybody that says we have to have morally, you know, when I say morality, I say Christian. We want religious morality people in there. It's like, well, I disagree with that, because if we believe in freedom of religion, which religion is it? Or we just leave it out of it. And economically, I just want my politician. The other part of it is, you know, we talked about salaries in the past. You know, Congress in the past didn't get paid shit. You know, congressmen in the past did not get paid shit.
I think it should go back to that.
It should go back to that, because ultimately Congress was not in session for months. Yeah. It was go there because the longer I'm here, my farm is suffering.
Right.
My crops are dying. Get me the fuck out of here. No new business. Dismissed. Get the fuck out of here.
I always think congressmen and senators should be set up the same as jury duty.
Nah, because
where everybody would have to.
Then you're getting a lot of the fuck. Then you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. I was like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Maybe not exactly like jury duty, but be able to like put your name into like you fill out all your forms. Like
each state should have one Maverick slot. One Maverick slot.
You're not a criminal. Maybe you're a small business owner. So maybe some of your stuff in the community or whatever.
Yeah, 100%.
But just make it open it up a little bit.
The one thing I will respect
politicians.
The one thing I respect about Marjorie Taylor Greene, she is a small business owner.
Yeah.
A lot of congressmen are not. They're investors, they're traders, they're lawyers.
She just gets up there on the platform. I can't say that I wouldn't do the same thing if I just got elected to go up there and just start talking shit to everybody up there.
Absolutely.
Be like,
but again,
you guys have ruined this country.
Yeah. But it's the past that worries me. Like I said, if you can fall for Q, you'll fall for anything. That's the issue that I take. But then, and then
I don't know.
When
I don't think I could hold that against anybody who's like,
look how much damage it did to the GOP. I called this one too. It did a lot of damage to the GOP. Like that was one of the biggest takeaways the left had in regards to combating the GOP. Is like, you're the party of Q.
I think the left made it a bigger. So when Trump did his debate, and they were like, okay, this QAnon stuff, all this, like they never mentioned the BLM. They never mentioned Antifa. And if you did, it was like, oh, those are just conspiracy theories.
Right.
Antifa's not real.
Well, you're going to dominate. The left's going to dominate in that spectrum because they control the culture. They control
the media.
They control the media. They control academia. Of course, they're going to bring the stuff up. But at the same token, don't give them any ammunition that's not worthy of being given.
It wasn't great to give them, but
fuck no, it wasn't. It's like, here's the thing. We're going to give them some things like being pro-life. It's like, that's ammunition they're going to use against us. And I'm fine with that. Like, I don't give a shit what you think about that. But don't give them ammunition. Don't give them instances where you're going to look fucking stupid. It's like, hey, guys, you're the party. Like, right now, the left, you know what they have? They've got child grooming. They've got transgenderism in the sense of, like, drag queen story hour, things such as that, and then transgender athletes. It's like, this is what you've got, and this is not what you think it is. This is not a good thing.
I still can't get over that guy, the tranny swimmer.
Oh, bro. We had some really good conversations on Drunken Debates to the point where people were talking about we should have subcategories. So I was like, here's your fix. Have a transgender category. There's your fix. It's like, well, no. What if they want to compete against, it's like, no, because they talked about like being on testosterone. It's like, I'm on testosterone.
Who's that? Adam Carolla, who put that like as a male swimmer, as Thomas, whatever the dude's last name is. He was ranked 500 and something, but as a female,
he's ranked 1.
He's ranked number 1.
Yep.
I mean,
you suck so bad that you got to compete against women to even be. That's like an adult going against children.
Yeah, he's got a wingspan like Michael Jordan. Yeah. So
like clearly the odds are in your favor. You're like 6'2", 6'3". You've got long arms, and come to find out that this dude still had double the amount of testosterone that was legally required. Go fucking figure. So clearly the rules didn't matter, and I just feel like we've gone into the realm of insanity. Like, here's the thing: people saying that transgenderism is not a psychological disorder. Like, what are you talking about? You clearly have a difference of your genitalia and your brain. There is a mix match there. Apparently, how is that not a disorder? How is that not a disorder? Like, please explain. Oh, no, it's normal. If it was normal, you'd be fine accepting the DNA that you have.
Right.
That's not normal. It's like, can a dog become a cat? Well, why can a man become a woman? Explain that to me.
You tell me.
You tell me. All right, let's get back to the news here. Okay, Biden's saying, all right, we got the Pope. Pope Francis. We got Pope Francis. This is the biggest liberal Catholic I've ever seen. And this guy's the Pope. Apparently, he is God's chosen one for Earth, as voted by the Cardinal or the Enclave. So that figures.
I guess that's it.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's why we could say the president is also God's representative on Earth because he's voted by the people, which makes no sense to me. But okay, whatever. Pope Francis says spending on weapons sullies the soul. Rome, Pope Francis rallied against spending money on national defense Monday, insisting that expenditure on weapons sullies the soul. Really? Pope, go tell that to Ukraine. Dude, shut the fuck up. Like, seriously. Stick to raping little boys and shut the fuck up. Like, literally. What about the papal armies, Pope? What about the own history of the Catholic Church? What about Fox's Book of Martyrs? Your church has so much blood on its hands at the hands of weapons. Like, dude, you really should shut the hell up. He's an ignorant pope. He's a liberal pope. You've compromised so much on Catholic doctrine for the sake of appeasing to your voter base or to your people. You want more Catholics. You want the Catholic Church to become more popular. So what you're doing is you're pandering to the majority of what you feel. You're actually turning your back on your actual religion. He says, why wage war on each other over conflicts that we should resolve by talking to each other as fellow people? This is like this is like Gal Gadot singing Imagine to the COVID people. We're in this together. Hey, why fight wars when you could talk? Well, they do, Pope. And it's just when the talking is over, they go to weapons. It's been that way for the history of mankind. Maybe take a more pragmatic approach and stop at why have war when we could just have peace? Well, that's a great idea. Why didn't I think about that? Fuck. Oh, Zelensky, Putin, knock it the fuck off. Talk it out, man. Although I would totally be for, like if Russia wanted to go to war with Ukraine, it's the leaders challenge each other to combat. Yeah. I think Elon Musk is onto something here.
Start there.
Zelensky versus Putin in a cage match with weapons and everything. How awesome would that be? That our political leaders, it's like, I challenge you to combat, trial by combat, or challenge you to combat, not trial. All right, fine. Zelensky versus Putin this Monday, WWE Raw.
Make a little money.
But this one's actually be real. Imagine they created a pay-per-view event, and that money could help out the impoverished all over the world.
Hey, if Logan Paul can do it.
Jesus. Oh, my God. Talk about how dumb we are as a society. Certain choices are not neutral. To allocate a large part of spending to weapons means taking it away from something else, which means continuing to take it away from those who lack necessities, he said. And this is an outrage, spending on weapons. Dude, to the Catholics that agree with this, your churches are made out of gold. You have golden idols in your churches, which I'm pretty sure is against the Bible. You spend so much money on dumb shit because I'm pretty sure Christ did not have that in mind. Because I'm pretty sure when Jesus went to the temple, pulled out a whip, and went freaking hamstring on these guys, these money changers in the temple of God, you're doing the same thing. You have these golden images of your church. Feed the poor, clothe the homeless. I get it. Clothe the homeless. He's an Italian pope, I believe. That's Irish. Sorry.
I thought he was Argentinian.
Is he Argentinian?
I thought he was.
I don't really care either way. But the point being is if you're all about preaching, feeding the poor, why don't you sit there and melt down half of your church and feed the world?
You probably talk a little more like this.
Talk a bit like this, man.
Like Tony Montana.
To buy weapons is detrimental to the soul, man.
Listen, man.
Listen, this is not good. Put your weapons down and talk about this, man. Stop polluting the world. You know what I'm saying? They say that's what I'm talking about. See?
I think that's probably more accurate.
I think this guy's just an idiot. I think he's an idiot. To sit there with just the outright hypocrisy, it's like, dear Pope, shut the fuck up.
Dear Pope.
Nobody wants to hear you anymore. Your religion has been sullied to such an extent that nobody takes you seriously anymore. You have, and thank God, because if you go back during the Renaissance period, the Pope had all the power in the world. The Pope owned the world.
He's got the biggest hat.
Such a big hat.
Solid gold scepter.
This dude had so much power and sway, and that was dangerous. Like the threat of excommunication was something that he could legitimately turn countries around with. The papal armies were very powerful. And the other part was he was smart. He's kind of like how China is now. He would get other countries to do his fighting for him. God commands me to tell England to go to war with France because they've abandoned, or vice versa for Henry VIII. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, no. Shut the hell up. Go back into your corner. Like, it's ridiculous at this point. Good old Pope. All right. Zelensky backs Israel as good place to host peace summit with Russia. What? Like, what? Are you serious with this? Like, Zelensky's Jewish, apparently. But still, like, and, he still has the Azov battalion in his National Guard, so that doesn't make any sense, but whatever. I mean, Soros was a Jew, and he still killed fellow Jews, so whatever. But Israel, like, the embattled country, like, you feel that's the best? Okay. What about Switzerland? That'd be a good neutral place, even though Switzerland was for pro-Russian sanctions.
They're probably like,
I'm not sure how you feel about this. We hosted it in Russia. We'll be fair to you. Here, step into this gulag. Wait for us there.
China,
yes. I don't feel like Israel would be a good place to host a peace summit. I think you need to find a neutral party. But that's the other problem is there is no neutral party. Everybody's got a hand in this. Either they're for the world canceling of Russia, and I'm not for that. Oh, and by the way, I posted this on Instagram the other day. This is how stupid our country has become. This is how dumb our civilian populace is. And I'm ashamed to say this. I posted this yesterday. Conference axes name of first man in space because he was Russian. In a now deleted announcement, the nonprofit Space Foundation said that in light of the current world events, they would be changing Yuri's Night to a celebration of space discovery, What's Next, at its Space Symposium conference, Futurism reported. The focus of this fundraising event remains the same, to celebrate human achievements in space while inspiring the next generation to reach for the stars, read the former update. In 1961, Gagarin, a Soviet Union pilot, became the first person to enter space, signaling a major escalation of the U.S.-Soviet Cold War space race. He was followed that same year by American astronaut Alan Shepard. This only goes to show what I've been saying is that even the people on both sides of this aisle that are trying to hold historical figures to a contemporary politically correct average or a politically correct standard are fucking retarded. Well, we're just going to cancel all these historical figures because they didn't see it the way I see it. These people in our society are the stupidest. You're canceling a guy, or you're tempted to. They deleted the tweet because they're fucking cowards. Hold true to it. Take the backlash. Stop being bitches. You want to take that stance? Take the fucking stance and stop bending the knee. Stand up for your beliefs and then take the fucking beatings you deserve, you pussies. What a bunch of fucking little bitches. But anyway, what you're trying to do is cancel a man, regardless of his nationality, was the first human in space. The first human being in space, and you're trying to cancel him for your event because his nationality just so happened to be Russian? You fucking kidding me? That's a massive humankind achievement.
You know, anytime you start to try to rewrite history.
Mankind. Excuse me. I can't believe I just said humankind. I should have said, humanity.
Whatever.
I'm thinking more like what Justin Trudeau said. I don't want to say mankind. Or people. He said people kind. I'm saying humankind. It embraces everybody. There we go. People kind. But humanity. It was a massive achievement for the human race. We put a human being in space to begin the exploration of space. The final frontier.
Yeah, but
make it show number
just
one.
Talking about rewriting history.
Now we got to cancel
idea.
Natasha Yar off of Star Trek because she was Russian. I'm gonna meme that later. Don't steal it. We got to cancel all these people. This is how stupid these people are. Like Meta, Zuckerberg, this cuck. Violence towards him. You want to cancel Russian citizens because of what Putin's doing when a good chunk of the Russian citizens don't want anything to do with this, and now you're punishing them. It's sad. It's sad that's where we're at. That's how stupid people are. That's like saying that we're going to cancel all white people because one white person does something incredibly horrific. This is groupthink.
Yeah, I feel like that goes on already.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does. We just need more people to harass and push back on these morons. Make them feel stupid. Bully them. I'm serious. Have at them on social media. Fucking go to town on these idiots. Don't hold back. Because that's what's needed in society to fix it. It's not turning another cheek. It's fighting back. You have to. Make them feel stupid. Make them feel retarded. They should. You need that. Picks, no surrender. Ukraine forces refuse offer of safe passage out of Mariupol. Ukrainian officials defiantly rejected a Russian demand that their forces in Mariupol, excuse me if I mispronounced that, lay down arms and raise white flags Monday in exchange for safe passage out of the besieged strategic port city. Even as Russia intensified its attempts to bombard Mariupol and to surrender, its offensive in other parts of Ukraine has floundered. Western governments and analysts see the broader conflict grinding into a war of attrition, with Russians continuing to barrage cities. In the capital, Kiev, Russian shelling, devastated a shopping center near the city center, killing at least 8 people and leaving a sea of rubble amid scarred high-rises. Ukrainian authorities also said Russia shelled a chemical plant in northeastern Ukraine, causing an ammonia leak, and hit a military training base in the west with cruise missiles. Isn't that interesting how Tulsi Gabbard says the same thing? So there's biolabs over there that if Russia gets hold of or whatever, something could happen. It just happened. Well, maybe not in a biolab per se, but you had an ammonia leak. These are serious issues. But again, Romney accuses her of treason for pointing this out. You can't be serious with this. Romney is another idiot that should be bullied and harassed 100%.
That guy should.
He's a fucking idiot.
He should be out of government altogether.
He should be out of America.
Yeah.
To accuse Tulsi, who is a veteran, who served overseas, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have the right to accuse a veteran, but you accuse a veteran of treason, you better have some fucking hard facts. You better have some evidence.
For a $59 donation to her political campaign.
It's almost as if somebody could stage that. That's why people in the black rifle thing was like, well, they donated to Tulsi's campaign. He said he lost the bet. So the fuck what? Grow up. Like, I get it. Or the one I love using is somebody takes a picture with somebody else. Like the Epstein shit. Oh my God, somebody was in a picture with Epstein. Really? Because Trump was in a few pictures with him and you going to condemn Trump now?
I mean,
guilt by association is lazy thinking. That's the poor man's way of thinking. I'm sorry, it's the stupid man's way of thinking. And I'm so tired of that. I'm so tired of that. Oh my God. Here's another thing. This is the last story of the day. Israeli officials, Iranian drones shot down by U.S. were heading to Israel. 2 Iranian drones shot down over Iraq last month by U.S. fighter jets were bound for targets in Israel, defense officials said Monday after a gag order was lifted. The incident on February 14th came as Israeli security officials feared reprisal from Iran over Israeli attacks on Iranian targets. Days later, Israel allegedly targeted a drone warehouse at an Iranian airbase in Kermeshesh, destroying hundreds of drones. Iran's Revolutionary Guards retaliated by launching a dozen missiles on what they called strategic Israeli bases in the northern city of Erbil in Iraq. And that's why people ran with that. Like, people were saying, oh, they were going after America. I'm like, wait. They said these missiles hit near U.S. embassies. That's not what they were targeting. Even I almost fell for that one. I was like, wait, did they hit U.S. embassies? Was that the intent? Or were they hitting something just so happened to be closer to U.S. embassies? Come to find out, they were trying to target Israeli stuff. There's a difference. The press needs to do better at reporting this.
Yeah.
The press needs to do better because that could escalate into something very serious.
That ship has sailed a long time ago.
Yeah, true. But the point still stands. Everything. Iran targets U.S. embassies. Like, no, they didn't. Even I fell for that. As like, actually, once more came out, it's like, they didn't.
That's why nobody knows what to believe that is going on there because you have shit like this.
Yeah.
And the media's been doing this for like the past, I don't know,
a long
15, 20 years.
Yep.
And it's finally people are waking up to it.
If we want to call for violence towards the media. 100%.
I mean, those doors should be shut.
100%. 100%.
Because, I mean, they're really the enemy of the people. Like pushing all this propaganda and gaslighting, all these lies.
It's just, why is there no legal recourse? Why is there no legal recourse coming from these outlets?
Yeah.
Like, why is nobody going after them in a sense of like...
Why does it just have to be Kyle Rittenhouse and Nick Sandman?
Yeah. Because I think they target them directly versus you're making generalized statements. Who's gonna...
I mean, you could probably do a class action lawsuit and...
I could see that.
Sue these assholes.
I could see that. Yeah, I bet they are, though. I bet they are. I bet there are people going after them legally. I know Rick Perry. Rick Perry is going after the Biden administration for a lot of shit.
CNN, I know, has several race-related lawsuits. Oh, yeah.
I saw that one. Chris Cuomo. Good old Chris Cuomo apparently is blowing the whistle on his buddy Don Lemon. In a new interview he did when he was testifying, whatever the case may be, he basically said that CNN clearly has different levels of tolerance in regards to enforcing rules on minorities. He basically said that Don Lemon was treated like royalty because he's black and he's gay.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Cuomo comes out and says this, like, dude, because Chris Cuomo is now suing CNN for millions. And it's like, bro, it's like, how these two little butt buddies were all chummy on the live air.
Oh, yeah.
Come to find out that CNN is like falling in some hot waters. You got all these dudes, but you got Cuomo being accused of all this meddling, being a not actual journalist. You got the inappropriate relationships. I'm waiting for fucking little fat boy Stelter to get crucified for something. It's like Stelter ate more than 3 donuts and what was allowed in the CNN headquarters.
That dude's such a...
He's a little shit.
A dummy.
He is.
Like a straight up dummy.
You look at this kid, he got picked on in high school.
Oh, God.
He's probably got massive insecurities.
I can't believe he's married.
Neither can I. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for today's episode of the All American Savage Show podcast. Don't forget, on the website, we've got the buy one, get one free 30 count and 60 count gummies. Appreciate that love and support there. You guys are amazing. But here is the link to go check that out. Again, that's until supplies last. I think we got 1,000 bags we're trying to get rid of. There is the link to it. Buy one thing of watermelon, get the other bag free. We appreciate your love and support there. And then if you're wanting to check out the Tipsy's Woodworking and subscribe to get a mug, you can get that here at Tipsy's on the Shell Shock CBD page. Here it is for your viewing pleasure. I'll post this link. You can actually go buy the tankards. Twitch, don't go anywhere. We're still giving away a tankard. We're still giving it away. You can still buy one, or you can try and win one from just being a subscriber on Twitch. We appreciate that love and support. So anyway, until tomorrow, you got anything to add, my man?
It's good to be back.
Glad you're back.
I love that mustache.
I missed you. I missed you so
I think
much.
I'll take for a ride later on.
We should totally make out after this.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks again. Again, go leave us a good review. Oh, I got on Truth Social. My account was activated.
Oh, yeah?
That's got a lot of bugs, but it's coming around, so we'll see. You can follow me on Truth Social, John Burke. You can check out my Twitter at Sergeant Savage, and then John Burke 11 Bravo on Instagram. And until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, you stay savage, America.